One of our goals for this sprint was to fully implement our web REST API, which will be used to send data back and forth between the server and the two clients which we've built out on both mobile and web applications. So that's what we completed this sprint. Here we can see our API documentation, which goes over the different routes on which you can either get or put or delete data. So we have our basic syncing route, which is used from the mobile app in order to get up to date with the server. And then the rest of these will be primarily used by the web application to access different resources to be viewed in the web application. And so we can see that we have different endpoints for each of our different database objects. On the code side of things, we can see here that we have implemented our database queries. So we have a SQLite database that is set up on the server, and then for each of our different resources, we have different repository pattern classes which are used to either get or put data using these SQL queries, which you can see here. Some are still being implemented at this time. Then from this repository class structure, we can see that we come into the API controller. So this is for the endpoint for information for users. So we can see all of our different routes where we're able to execute these queries and get the data. And these handlers are available on routes associated with each of the different database tables. So we can see here that this is for the user table, and we are available on different routes. So we can see here that the base route is where we can either get all users or add a user. And then from this route, which includes the user ID, we are able to either get that user, update it, or delete it. And this is the same for all of the different resources that are available in our database. Thank you.
Was focused on for this sprint revolved around the ability to have unique fields entered as part of the data entries. In the specific use case of our sponsor, the lizards have a toe clip code which is unique to the site, for example GWA1, as well as the project that it's part of. So in this case it's the Gateway Airport, and then the species code. One of the features that we added was a unique on false concept, which is essentially saying that this item here, toe clip code, or whatever a user would like, is required to be unique as long as this box here is unchecked, in this case recapture. Users can specify this in form editing to be basically any fields they want, but it's this specific use case. So I've already entered in a few items to this that are of the species code ASTI, and A1 and B1 is a toe clip code that's already used. Now, since it's already used and this is unchecked, that means that this code is supposed to be unique. So let's say I've gone in and I filled out the whole form here, and I click next, and it actually let me know, oh, fence trap, I also forgot to enter that, but oh, this field here, this is actually invalid because it's not a unique value, and it expects it to be a unique value. Now you can click off recapture here, and actually when that is checked off, it will allow you to advance forward like that. Now, one of the other things that the old app does that the new app now also supports is the ability to generate code. So let's say that I hit next and I say, oh, whoops, that doesn't actually exist, that actually already exists. I can actually hit this generate button here, and it will generate a new toe clip code from a entered chain of toe clip codes that is valid and is unique, and so has not been entered for any of with all those previous values. So the species and the